I think they're doing that at Doge. I think they're cutting too deep, and they're going to have to probably rehire some of these people.
And they're going to be angry.
Oh yeah,
Rightfully so.
either
I
rehire
mean,
those or hire somebody else. But yeah, I think there's going to be some of that.
I don't know how else they can do it though without like making some mistakes. I mean, how do you go through a $1.7 trillion deficit without like you
Yeah,
got
especially if the speed that they're doing it, they're going to make mistakes, and they said that they're not. They're human. They're going to make mistakes. They're not infallible. But the alternative is if you do over, say, a 10-year time, you're not in office for that long.
no.
So you
Yeah.
can't do it over a 10-year time unless the next presidency decides that, okay, we're going to play ball. This is a worthwhile cause, and we're going to continue what you're doing, the way you're doing it. So, but that only works with either bipartisanship or if a Republican president replaces a Republican president.
Boy, there's a catchword, bipartisanship. We haven't had that in 20 years.
God, when was it?
It's been a long time.
We've had like scattered in like over certain subjects, bipartisanship.
I mean, it took a plane flying into a building in the early 2000s to get all the Congress people to stand up and sing together. It's like, what does it really have to take that? Can you guys like be nice?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're just yelling at each other. The problem I have with the Doge doing this is that they're treating it like a corporation, and the government as a guy who runs a small business that does work partially in government, not at the federal level, at least not anymore. It doesn't function the same way as a corporation does. A corporation does, you can walk in and you can say you're fired and that's what happens. If you do that in a government, it's a welfare or like a health department thing, there's consequences.
Right.
Like somebody's not going to get a meal
Big
somewhere,
consequences.
or somebody's going to be at a restaurant and they're going to have a cockroach in their soup. like whoa, that's not good. So I think you're right. I think he's being a little bit too medieval, but I do think that some of it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I've got Intel stock pulled up because the new CEO's coming in, and I think I heard that they're planning on 10,000 people getting laid off in Intel, which is very sad.
Right.
They've been
It is
building this
sad.
foundry. They've been building this thing, and it's not done yet. And they're just going to like slash all these people before they're gone. Now, this is a very common corporate tactic. So for all you kids going to school, and the school's telling you you're going to be at your job for the next 40 years and you're going to retire there, they're going to take good care of you. They're full of crap.
Yeah, that
That's
hasn't
not gonna
happened
happen.
for a long time. I mean, back in like our parents' days, you go to work at Upjohn or whatever corporation, and you stay there. You could start as a janitor, work your way up to vice president, and be there for 40 years and retire. But now
Now
there's
yeah.
that was loyalty. There's loyalty as the employee to the corporation, and there's loyalty for the corporation to the employee.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
it's not.
it's not that. You're just an asset now. You're just somebody there to make money for the company. And if you aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're just fired. Or if you're making too much money and need to cut, you're gone.
It's sad to see that because one of my first experiences in the corporate world was at a big corporation like that, and I facilitated what they called RIF tickets. So what does this mean? It's, oh, it's just reduction in force. I'm like, huh? I'm like 21 years old, and I found out that meant people getting fired. I was like,
Right.
oh,
But
oh,
you're not allowed to say they're getting fired. They did nothing wrong. They're not getting fired. They're just being downsized. It's like, did they have a job yesterday? Yeah. Did they have a job today? No, you fired them. Was it their choice? No? Yeah, you fired them.
Now, why does this have anything to do with stocks? We'll get into that, so just to bear with us.
Jobs reports.
Yeah. So the thing that we're bringing up to mind is like if you're young and you're thinking that you're going to have it, this is why we buy the dividend stocks the way we do. This is why we kind of don't capitalize on some of the dividend checks by just dripping all of them. We have that $210 a month in our portfolio to say, oh, what if something happens? It's a defense mechanism, because the first thing I saw was over 10,000 people, like my corporate experience, 10,000 people getting let go. Some of these guys, like I remember one of the guys, he's a plant manager. He's sitting at his desk. He's like, I've been here for 25 years, Tom. He goes, I did nothing less than a 60-hour week, didn't take any vacations. My family suffered as a result. And my notice is like 24-hour notice. He carried his stuff out in a little cardboard box. Like, what the heck?
Now they might have given him like 6 months severance,
Nope.
3 months severance, but
He got his vacation time, and that was it.
oh,
3 weeks.
Ouch.
That was a lot of vacation time back in 1999, but I mean, I saw that happen for the next decade of my career before I got into the small business world and realized, oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of different set of problems in the small business world. But I mean, that was my experience, is that they hire these kids out of school that make, 30, 40 grand. The school will tell you make 100 grand. That's not what you're going to make. You're going to make
No.
40 grand. but then you find out when you get this job, it's like, oh, well, who's FICA? What's all these taxes?
Why do you keep taking money out of my check?
Like your check is half of what you thought it was going to be because of taxes. But you get this job, and what they're doing is they're replacing the people that have been there for 20 years, and the people that have been there for 20 years are making 80, 90 grand. Maybe if they're directors, they're making close to 100. And if for all you people who don't agree with me, we just showed the top 5% of the household income in the median, like the report, the median earnings for. In fact, here I'll just
median is 50,000.
There you go.
95% was 180.
Here's your household income. This is for Michigan, so you can change the state to the one that you want. And then we got the other one here is like to find out if you're average or if you're middle class. So what corporations do as far as stocks are concerned is this is like right out of their playbook. They will take the people that have been there for 20 years, lay them off to get fresh ideas, and they'll fire a guy making $100,000 a year, which is, if you were making $100,000 a year, you're in the top like 5%. So 1 out of 5 people, you line up 100 people, you're in the top 5. So if you're making that kind of money, they're going to lay you off and then hire somebody out of college. And they're going to hire 2 people for the amount of time that you put in. It doesn't matter like how many hours you put in. You cannot outproduce 2 or 3 people, especially if A, they don't have families, B, they don't know what they're actually worth, so they take the low paycheck from the business. And C, they don't have this longevity where they want to I don't know, take an actual vacation. So there's stocks do this. They do this to increase their book value, they increase their income, they increase the equity in the business, and the biggest overhead for most of these businesses is their payroll.
Yep.
I notice for my company, it's like I got a $72,000 nut to crack every month, and if I can't crack it, people get laid off.
And then you go to their earnings and their statements, and you see that their operating income went up. Or their cash flow is now higher because of this.
So not only do you have to pay attention to those metrics, but you got to pay attention to why.
Yeah.
Because what Intel's doing or what they're about to do, if you look at this, you're going to see their operating margin go up for a little bit, but they're going to have to replace some of those people that are getting laid off. Not all of them, but you're going to see their operating expenses go way down.
And it's a short-term gain.
It is. Because you can't do the same thing with 10,000 people when you had 18,000 people, you can't, that's 8,000 people. I mean, 10,000 people can't outproduce 18,000 people.
Right.
So it's going to make the stock look good short term. Now, this is a very standard corporate play. You go back to 2008, you go to the recession, you look at what happened with the automotive industry, the housing industry, you look at what Caterpillar did, you look at the employment numbers, that's going to affect these stocks. And as the market gets more...
Go back to 2000, 2001 where the dot-com bubble burst.
Oh, yeah, pets.com.
Go back to 1987 when the stock market dropped. The Black Friday.
Yep. And this is all, why do we bring this up? This all plays a part to, the Great Short. What was the name of the movie?
Big Short.
Big Short. The Big Short. Michael Burry, right?
a 20% dividend.
No, pay off your credit card first. So we always look at what is the income that these people are going to be left over with? What is your net? And you try to reduce your costs and your expenses. So if you're following along and you're investing with us and you're going to try to get these big fancy dividends, we're going to $210 a month, you try to get that money, do not have my problem. Do not increase the quality of your life by buying I look at this like this is a Porsche and that's a M3 BMW, so everything's paid for, the house paid for. Like, don't increase your standard of living to your income unless you know for a fact that you can support it working at McDonald's. So like, I will budget my entire budget so that I can pay for everything. Saying, would you like fries with that?
And you can still invest.
And I can prove it. So if anybody's like who knows me, who's watching, is like, Tom, can you really do that? Like, yeah, I can pay for 3 kids and my entire budget on $2,800 a month.
Yeah. The first step in
Three
investing
kids.
is one, knowing your income and outflow. Two, reducing your debt and getting rid of it. Then you can start looking at investing.
Yeah, so when you get that job and you're that young guy and going to school and you're thinking, oh, wow, remember that 20-year mark.